everyone, it's Kathy and welcome back to Kathy's Happy Home. And today I'm going to tell you what I've been reading this past month, the month of April. Um, Actually, because I've been going and sitting waiting for Joe to get out of rehab, I've read a lot more and I actually got done 6 books this month. So let me take you and show you what I've been reading. Most of them, I tell you, getting Libby has made a big difference in my life. And most of them are from the library, so I don't have the actual book. But the first one that I read was called The Walk by Richard Paul Evans. Let me show you that. Now, this is book one of a series that appears to be 5 books in the series. And the summary says, what would you do if you lost everything? Your job, your home, and the love of your life all at the same time? When it happens to Seattle and ad executive Alan Christopherson, he's tempted by his darkest thoughts. Instead, he decides to take a walk, but not any ordinary walk. Taking with him only the barest of essentials, Alan leaves behind all that he's known and heads for the farthest point on his map, Key West, Florida. The people he encounters along the way and the lessons they share with him will save his life and inspire yours. My sister read this book and she highly, highly recommended it to me. And I finally got around to reading it, and oh man, she was right. This is the most wonderful book. I have book two waiting for me. Well, I have a hold on it. It hasn't come in yet, but I can't wait to get to book two. I highly recommend this book to you. It will change your life. It's called The Walk by Richard Paul Evans. The next book I read was another one of the Betsy Tacy books, and this one was number 4, Betsy and Tacy Go Downtown. Let me show you that. So in this one, Betsy, Tacy, and Tib are 12, old enough to do lots of things, even go downtown on their own. There they see their first horseless carriage, discover the joys of the public library, and see a real play at the Opera House. They even find themselves acting in one. Best of all, they help a lonely new friend feel at home in Deep Valley, the most wonderful place in the world to grow up. Well, I truly believe that Deep Valley must have been the most wonderful place in the world to grow up. They had such wonderful adventures there, and I love reading about them. The the chapter on the first horseless carriage. Oh man, I wanted to be there. I wanted to be the one riding in that horseless carriage. How exciting that must have been. And the public library, of course, you know me, I love libraries. And seeing a real play at the Opera House and then being chosen to be the extras in another play. And it was just a very delightful book. Of course, I love all the Betsy Tacy books. So if you're reading it, I'm up to number 4, Betsy and Tacy Go Downtown. I have number 5 on hold, but hasn't come in yet. But as soon as it does, you know I'm going to read it. The next book, when I took it out of the library, I didn't know that was a kid's book. And I read it in like 5 minutes, but it was so delightful. It's called Hershey, The Story Behind the Brand, from a series called Food Brands We Love, and it's by Kaitlyn Duling. And let me show you that cover. What a sweet treat. This title is packed with the history of the Hershey Company through narrative, non-fiction, informative sidebars, fun facts, and more. I had read a book when I was working on Hershey, and all about his life and how he started his company and all. What an interesting man Milton Hershey was, and so many good things he did for orphans. This book is, like I said, it's definitely for kids, but You wouldn't mind reading it yourself. You'd learn a lot from this book. So that's it, Hershey Food Brands We Love by Kaitlyn Duling. So the fourth book I read was one of my mom's that I found, and it's by Jill Churchill. It's called The Merchant of Menace. It's a Jane Jeffrey mystery book, number 10. I've never read Jill Churchill before this. I really like her a lot, and my mom has other books of hers, so you know I'm going to be reading them. But let me tell you about this one. Oh, first let me show it to you. Hold on. Now, this is a hardcover, a paperback book. I actually have it to show you in my hands, but I loaned it to my girlfriend, so that's why you're getting a picture off the computer. But let me tell you about it. It's beginning to look a lot like murder. 'Tis the season to jolly and suburban mom Jane Jeffries in a mad scramble to finish her cookie baking and household chores before her teenage kids arrive home. Also expected are two moms, both the late husband's mother and the disapproving mater of Detective Mel Van Dyne, Jane's significant other. The kitchen is a disaster zone. The dog has decorated the house with hair, and the ear splitting racket coming from the neighbor's tacky music making Christmas display is driving Jane crazy. Now she has to get the green icing out of her hair and be ready to host her post caroling dinner party. One thing Jane isn't ready for is a surprise visit from a muckraking TV action reporter disguised as Santa Claus. The nasty old Saint Nick is out to wrap a happy holiday caroling into a package marked scandal. But before he has a chance to color the event with yellow journalism, his red suited body slides off the neighbor's roof to land, silenced forever, on the horns of a plastic reindeer. It looks like Santa's mishap is no accident, and with the help of her friend Shelley, Jane finds plenty of suspects. The phony Santa has an ex wife and a female assistant who both hate him, and plenty of nice people ruined by tales of naughtiness. Now Jane has to find the Grinch who thought murder was a way to save Christmas before the holiday turns into the unhappiest day of the year. This was a fun book to read. The first half of the book, I just thought was a regular story because it didn't seem to have any mystery in it before. But suddenly, people start dying, things start happening, and it is so good. I can't believe that I've never read Jill Churchill before because this is such a good book, and so I expect to be suitably impressed with the other ones of hers I have. So this is The Merchant of Menace by Jill Churchill. Next, there's the second of the Maggie Sefton books. If you remember, I read The Knitting Mystery last month, and this is number 2. It's called Needled to Death. Okay, here's the summary. Now that she's been knitting up a storm with the help of her new friends at House of Lambsbone, Kelly Flynn can't imagine ever leaving Fort Connor, Colorado. But there's trouble in her adopted hometown, and not just with her new sweater project. When Kelly volunteers to take a troop of tourists to visit Vicky Claymore's alpaca farm, she discovers Fort Connor isn't as sedate as it seems. Instead of a warm welcome, they find Vicky splayed out on her original hand-woven rug, her blood seeping into the design. The police jump on the case, but Kelly can't resist doing a little investigation work of her own, even if it means taking a break from the sweater she's knitting in the round, because a murderer is lurking in Fort Connor, waiting for the right moment to strike again. And he does strike again. Very interesting. I love this. I never ever can figure out the whodunit in Maggie Sefton's books. Some people books, it's easy. This is not, but it's so interesting. Plus, I get a free recipe and 2 free knitting patterns in each book. This is another one I got out of the library. and it's really good. I recommend Maggie Sefton to anybody because I just love her stuff. And even though I've read them before, it was so long ago, I have no recollection of it. And don't you love that? So this is Needle to Death, Knitting Mysteries number 2 by Maggie Sefton. And one more book. It's Debbie Macomber's Christmas Letters. And I actually have this book right here. I hope you can see it. I'll read the summary of this also. Catherine O'Connor often spends her days at a cozy cafe on Blossom Street in Seattle, where she writes Christmas letters for other people. She's good at making their everyday lives sound more interesting, more humorous, more dramatic. But for Dr. Wynne Jeffries, who also frequents the cafe, Christmas means lies and deception. In fact, the renowned child psychologist recommends that parents bury Santa under the sleigh. Catherine, however, feels that his parenting philosophy is one big mistake, at least based on her 5-year-old twin nieces who are being raised according to his free child methods. She argues with Wynne about his theories, while he argues that her letters are nothing but lies. They disagree about practically everything, and yet somehow they don't really want to stop arguing. As the days and nights move closer to Christmas, Catherine and Wynne both discover that love means accepting your differences, and Christmas is about the things you share. Debbie Macomber is my very favorite author. I read anything of hers, and this was no exception. This was such a good book, such a fast read. Oh my goodness, I think that if I had nothing else to do during the day, I could have read it in one day. It's not big print, but lots of space. When I was publishing books, that's one thing that we always emphasize. How much white space is on the page is how fast a person reads it. So this I highly recommend. Christmas Letters. It doesn't have to be Christmas to read it. It's a fun story. I was laughing through a lot of it. So that's it, and thanks for watching, and I will be back next month and tell you what I've read in the month of May. See you then.